Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Herbal Mana Podcast, where we discuss all things natural, holistic, and where we're helping you to hurt less and live more. Today is going to be pretty interesting. At first blush, you might think, why in the world did we reach out to Andre? Andre Timberlake has some pretty cool things going on, and they're in the wellness, health, holistic, and fitness area, and they're all kind of blended together. There's even some diet thrown in, and this is pretty darn important. In our case, Andre, we work with a lot of folks that have chronic pain, inflammation, a lot of garbage going on. I just listened to a podcast from one of my favorite docs, a guy named Mark Hyman, and he was talking about inflammation. Inflammation, particularly, said, is problematic, especially when it's a slow burn, chronic inflammation. And he said, we've got to make some changes. And he said the top three changes are diet, diet, diet. And within the diet, the top three things to change are sugar, sugar, sugar. I noticed in some of your materials, you hit diet, movement, exercise, mindset, composure, some pretty awesome stuff.
That's right.
And absolutely congruent with what we do with our following. Absolutely congruent. So to start out with, how did you get to this place? Doing what you do. It's pretty darn cool.
Yeah. So I started in the wellness industry in 2008 in West Hollywood, California as a personal trainer. I worked for a pretty large luxury fitness club. I did that for a little while and went private at the recommendation of some clients, and it was a good move. So I did that over the course of 10 years before deciding to pursue the entrepreneurial road, which is tough, but rewarding because you can connect with people more personally and tailor your programs without the oversight of a corporation. So really how I got into this, my dad died at 50 years old, very young. I've had 3 family members, 3 grandparents pass of cancer. So 4 people in my life passed way too young from chronic disease. And that made me ask why. Why did this happen? My dad died of lung cancer. I didn't see him smoke cigarettes. So I was like, how did that happen? So I just started to ask questions, and diet was a big part of it. He used to cook on the grill like 4 or 5 times a week. And of course, we know the research that has come out about grilling and carcinogens. He used to eat a lot of fast food, and I would eat a lot of fast food with him. I ended up having high blood pressure at 18 years old. The doctor wanted to prescribe me medication. He said no. So I decided to dive deep into fitness, dive deep into holistic wellness, and that led me here. I tried a bunch of different programs, studied a lot of experts, took courses, got certifications. I found things that worked for me and things that worked for my clients, and said, let's put this in a program and offer it to people. And I created the 30-day mind body reset, which I'm not sure if you saw that, but we do incorporate 6 pillars that you mentioned, some of them: mindset mastery, body movement, and nutrition are together in one pillar because they're inseparable. We have emotional resilience, which includes composure. We have spiritual awareness, goal setting and accountability, and rest and recovery are the 6 pillars that compose the program. So with all those together,
30-day reset.
Yep, 30-day reset. And it's not meant to change your life in 30 days, but it's meant to set you on the track to your life. And if you can create very simple habits in each of these areas, you're on your way to creating habits that create lasting change.
How do folks access that? That sounds pretty easy. It's only 30 days. I think I could handle 30 days. I know it scares people when they think about making a diet change, a fitness change, a lifestyle change. Often it's just too much. It's too much.
So, and we've simplified it. We're not asking people to change everything all at once. We say for spiritual awareness and emotional resilience, we start with one simple visualization, like what goal do you want to accomplish over the 30 days? We focus on that in your visualizations, meditation. Just try 5 to 10 minutes a day of closing your eyes and just noticing your thoughts. You don't have to try any specific breath work combinations or techniques, which we do have if people want to dive further on one-on-one coaching, but just starting simple. When it comes to body movement, 5 minutes of walking a day. If that's where you're at your fitness level, just get up and move a little bit. That's what we're asking you to do. Nutrition, drink more water, start documenting. We give our clients trackers and lots of tools so that they can hold themselves accountable and we can hold them accountable too, because that's where most people fall short, is with accountability. And we have so many distractions, so much going on in the world, that taking on something that is really, these are huge tasks because we've adopted these habits that don't serve us, and changing longstanding habits is difficult. And when you ask people to do that, they shut down. But when you have someone to hold you accountable and you have a system in place, it becomes much easier. You don't have to think about it. You just do it.
I think accountability is huge. Tiger Woods had a coach. All the great quarterbacks have a coach. High-performing business folks have coaches.
Multiple coaches.
And I think that is important. Yeah, multiple coaches. I think that's important for staying on track. And I think it greatly simplifies. I can go to Instagram and pick up a stretching routine, actually probably 20 different posts on stretching, 20 different posts on lifting, 20 different posts on recovery. But there's no cohesion. There's no process. And after a while, I just have a whole collection of things that I never really go back and look at. So I've spent time scrolling, I've spent time saving, but no real time applying. So I love you've got it systematized, much more approachable, much more usable if you have a system with accountability built in. That's awesome.
100%.
And then I saw a couple of other websites that I was able to track down that are pretty awesome. The Fit Workplace, the Fit Vacation.
Yeah. So you mentioned how people
those about?
That. Yeah, they can access the 30-day reset. It's at 30daymindbodyreset.com, but it can also be accessed through fitwell.life, which is the umbrella company, the holistic wellness home base, you could say, for the other endeavors that you mentioned. The 30-day mind body reset can be found there. We have My Fit Workplace, which brings all of these things we're talking about into the workplace because a lot of people are just unhappy at work. It's a lot of demand and their dollars aren't going as far as they once did. The landscape of everything has changed with AI. And I think having a foundation of wellness in the workplace is essential for small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and large corporations alike. So we have that. It's myfitworkplace.com. And then My Fit Vacation was the first company I started, and it's a retreat company. We do holistic wellness retreats. Our last one was in Laguna Beach, California. It was amazing. We had a shamanic practitioner. It's a beautiful place.
One of my favorite places in California.
Yeah, one of mine as well. You can't beat it. So we had a shamanic practitioner there who did a breathwork session, which was transformative for everyone there. A women's wellness coach, close friend of mine that works with some of my clients, who did a workshop on women's health, hormonal balance, etc. We had beach workouts. So we'll be holding more of those as time goes on and we have more clients come on board the other programs.
So you expect to do some of that again later this year, 2025?
Yeah, 100%. Closer to midsummer, end of summer, we'll announce another one.
Would be awesome, especially Laguna Beach again. Of course, there are a lot of other great places to go. I just happen to love Laguna Beach. It is a pretty awesome place.
Top of my list. So we'll
Oh, in the workplace, fitness in the workplace. What would I see if I got the app? What would I see that would affect my workplace? What would I change? What would I be seeing? So it doesn't matter if I'm an office guy going to the big office building versus a home guy, just having a home office. It's different.
Yeah. So it would be customized. We have approached first responders locally. So working with firefighters and police officers on stress management and just job related fitness activities. Then for offices and so forth, it's, sitting still. So being sedentary for too long. So workplace activities that can be done, and then working with leadership to track and document the improvements. So that's done through surveys, pre-onboarding surveys of employee satisfaction, employee activity levels, et cetera, and midpoint and post-program surveys as well to show the ROI, right? So lowered healthcare costs are one of the benefits that companies see when they add wellness programs. Of course, greater employee satisfaction, greater camaraderie among the team, so greater cohesiveness in the business place, which is important. And so all of those things can be tracked, and it offers some great incentive to companies.
So when you're working in the office place, you're not just doing a one-off with somebody like me. You're looking at the team, the whole staff potentially, the organization potentially.
Exactly, and it can go by department. So what we like to do is connect with the leadership to find out which departments may be struggling. So if the sales department has seen a dip in performance, we can kind of gauge the changes that have happened in the workplace, what's going on with the employees, and we can sit down with them, find out if there's anything going on health-wise.
That would move the needle for a lot of organizations. I see some organizations doing kind of silly corporate retreats that don't have a lot of focus, don't have a lot of meaning. It's kind of fun, but not much carries over from the event. I think this could be transformative for a lot of folks, a lot of organizations. That's pretty awesome. I haven't seen anybody doing anything quite like that, especially not something that's nicely deliverable. I have seen fitness professionals be able to be on site to conduct a class, but then you can only help so many people.
Exactly. And that's really where it's,
Your
that's
style,
where it
man,
started.
help other people.
That's where it started, but I just ran into a lot of barriers with that, having proper facilities, bringing equipment on site. And that's still something that can be offered. But the real needle mover, as you said, is in the data. And that's something that we can use to connect with each department and each employee who buys into the program.
Found that ought to resonate pretty well with business folks. We're supposed to be, among other things, measuring results, measuring what we accomplish. Can't really gauge progress without some kind of measurement.
Exactly.
Yeah, on the vacation thing, you do the retreats. Do you have an app for somebody going on vacation to keep them on the straight and narrow or guide them somewhat?
Yes, we do. So it's the MyFitVacation app. It can be downloaded through the website, myfitvacation.com. It's only available through the website. So we have on vacation workouts that people can access through the app. Really basic stuff, workouts they can do in the hotel room, with modifications like suitcase presses and so forth. Or
suitcase press. I have to take 2 then when I go out on my trip this week.
Well, there you go.
I need 2, it sounds like. Suitcases.
Suitcase.
No, I like that.
Or even if you got to do single arm, just make sure you got a secure grip on the handle.
All right. I know a lot of folks that go traveling have a lot of trouble staying on track. And then a common complaint is, well, of course, not much of a complaint. People love going on vacation, but almost everybody puts on weight on vacation, especially if you go like on a cruise. And I think that's kind of sad, actually. I did a couple pounds on a recent trip to Hawaii. First in my lifetime that I've ever actually gained weight on a vacation. Gained about 2 pounds in 10.
You had a good time.
Had a great time. But it's a common problem. Folks going on vacation, being too sedentary, eating stuff they don't normally eat, overeating in a way they don't normally overeat. It'd be nice to have some system to just kind of stay on track.
Yep. So there's also a community that people can join if they sign up for the app. And when they do that, they can give recommendations for places to eat. They want to stay on track. That's with us establishing a connection, a coaching relationship. They can reach out to us for guidance as far as that's concerned, and nutrition and so forth. They also get discounts on hotel rooms. So we partner with hotelplanner.com. They go to myfitvacation.hotelplanner.com and they get discounts on hotel rooms all across the country, all across the world.
Wow, very cool. Hey, what's the book you published? Ran across a book. What is that come about?
Yep, it's called The Art of Composure, How to Master Equanimity. That came about through hardship in my own life. I'm a single custodial dad. My kids are upstairs right now. My mom came over to watch them while I do this. They're 7 and 6. My oldest will be 8 in March.
Ages?
Very active. 2 boys, awesome. They just got a bunch of awards at school, so I'm proud of them. I'm doing a decent job, but the separation with their mother was pretty tough. That led to a location transition a couple years ago, right before starting my companies, and some downtime to reflect and recover and share what I experienced and how to not allow it to destroy my ambition, but to lift me up and to fortify my intentions. And that's what the book is about. A little sprinkle in of my personal testimony and a lot of the tools that help me get through some of my toughest moments.
A lot of folks that go through challenges, whether they're family, health, business, career, tend to pull back. And I like that in your book, you are leaning into it, leaning into the change, working with the change, making sense of the change instead of pulling back. I see a lot of folks that will get chronic illness, chronic pain, or chronic career setback, and they withdraw. And when you withdraw, I think you tend to focus a little bit too much on the pain, which becomes suffering, and that's not good. That exacerbates everything, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So I like that about the book. Is that book getting some pretty good traction? Is it?
Well, I get very small dividends monthly, so someone's buying it. Every once I'll have someone reach out on LinkedIn and see that I'm an author and ask a little bit more information about it. But Nothing crazy just yet. I haven't done very much promotion on it. There's some modifications I want to make to the book cover and stuff like that. But eventually I think I'll do an audiobook version of it and I'll put a little bit more effort to getting it out there to folks. But it is available on Amazon.
Found it on Amazon. I did check on Audible. Could not find it on Audible. Sometimes I'm a little lazy and I'll go to Audible to consume a book.
It'll be there eventually.
I don't have time to read it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How long ago did you write that?
What's that?
How long ago did you write the book?
About 1.5 years.
How long did it take? I mean, writing a book is a big undertaking.
Yeah. It was about 6.5 to 7 months of hardcore focusing on that and parenting. That was it.
That's
well worth it. Something I always wanted to do.
Social media.
Yeah.
Does that appear in social media? Some of the stuff you have in the book? I noticed a lot of what you have on Instagram. It's not just diet. It's not just exercise. A lot of it's between the ears and the heart kind of stuff. You don't have light. Well, you have some light posts, but not a lot of fluff. You got some good, deep, thoughtful, good content. Actually, it was kind of interesting. I started digging to it. Spent quite a bit of time on the weekend. I normally don't spend a lot of time listening, going through posts. Kind of got stuck on yours. Lost about an hour. I was supposed to be in the gym. Sat down and started going, and an hour went by. But they're good, content-rich posts.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Actually, was a little surprising. That was kind of a treat.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Well, the root and the foundation of pretty much everything I do is due to my spiritual foundation, my spiritual beliefs, my value set, my morals. And I think the world can get tough. Life isn't easy. If you don't have a solid spiritual foundation, if one doesn't know thyself, as they say, it's very difficult to make any progress. So that's where I lead with my Instagram and my social media typically, is a lot of people won't ever get to the point of taking responsibility for their physical health if they don't break through that spiritual and mental barrier first. So that is definitely where I lead with a lot of my content. I do have another Instagram I just started called Mind Body with Andre. Haven't launched it yet, but that will be more focused on holistic wellness tips.
When will that launch?
Actionable advice that people
have a tentative launch date for that?
Yeah, February. Maybe first or second week of February. So look out for it in February.
I will fit in the calendar. Awesome. I always appreciate when somebody who has a public-facing business, I appreciate when they actually give real value before they ask somebody to pull out the credit card. That means a lot to me as far as credibility and depth. If you can share something that's meaningful through social media, not just once, but repeated, great in-depth posts, I think that's a great indicator of the kind of program that's going to follow those posts. So I think that's a great indication of great things to come.
I appreciate that. Very much so.
How do you find folks? How do they find you? With Instagram, you've got a good presence. The websites I wouldn't have found, except that I knew your name and I knew to go looking. So how do folks spread the word? Is it word of mouth or do you have something else?
So word of mouth mostly right now. Is really putting final touches on all the projects I've gone on. It's a lot, and I want to make sure that I'm delivering a complete project to people. So I'm going to start some more serious marketing efforts here in this new year in February with the new account, and some physical marketing efforts locally and ads and so forth online. But they can find me at Andre J. Timberlake on Instagram and other social sites as well at Andre J. Timberlake. Mind Body with Andre will be on Instagram in February. Fitwell.life is the main site that people can visit. So just fitwell.life, you type that in and you can find all of our programs. My Fit Vacation, the 30-day Mind Body Reset, and My Fit Workplace. You can access all of that there. We also have products that we'll be releasing soon. So we're talking to a supplement manufacturer and getting the final details worked out for that for a greens gummy, which was inspired by my kids because they're picky eaters. And I need them to get more high quality, nutrient dense
like that
foods into their body. So a greens gummy, we're working on that. We should have that out around March. We also have, greens gummy, a green joy.
Challenge that to taste good. But if you can pull that off, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I think
challenge. I'm a dad and a grandpa, so yeah, I get the I get the challenge.
Yeah, Green Joy gummies. And then we have on FieldWell.life pathogen purge lines. That's parasites are a big problem. Most countries in the world do parasite cleanses biannually, every 3 to 6 months, sometimes even. And it's just not common here. And we have an environment that's loaded with toxins and parasites. We have a herbal formula, herbal detox formula available. That's available now. A herbal detox mouthwash detox solution and an herbal topical solution as well.
Very nice. Those are on the website as well?
Yes.
Dang, I didn't find those. I will find those right after this call.
No worries. FitWell.
Yeah, and you're right, the whole detox thing, the toxic load is unreal. The toxic load that we're all under, and it affects everything. Hormones are affected, women are affected, men are pounded by it. We're just not as open typically to dealing with it. Women do a better job there. So yeah, that's definitely an area that needs some work for most of us.
100%.
I know that because my wife tells me, because she's do it. Make sure that I'm on my protocol, doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah,
that's great.
The cleansing protocol is just huge. We sometimes don't realize how long we've had these problems and how deep they can go. I mean, everything from skin, low testosterone levels, hormonal issues, like you mentioned, are really because of toxins and parasites, even chronic diseases, some of them. So I won't go too deep into that because it's still being researched, but yeah.
There are a lot of areas to affect, and there is plenty that we need to deal with, even in our own food supply. Saw the FDA just a week or so ago banned one type of red food coloring because it's a known problem. It's been a known problem for a long time. And they finally stepped up and took step number one. That's good. That's encouraging. It's encouraging.
Just one of the reds, though. It was red 3.
Just fine. Isn't that weird? And we know there are troubles with at least some other colors. I know another one of the reds is problematic.
Pretty much all of them.
And it's interesting that if I look at a product here in the U.S. and look at the same product in Europe, where they don't allow these, apparently the product tastes the same, works the same, but there they'll color it with a food additive, a food additive, turmeric or something, turmeric for yellow, beta carotene or orange.
There's a lot of natural ways out there who actually do that now, but you got to go to certain suppliers, certain markets to get it, Whole Foods or...
It is tough. And we face the same thing with our product. We're creating topicals that are highly absorbable.
I saw that.
We use something called DMSO. It's dimethyl sulfoxide, which is a great anti-inflammatory. And it carries whatever's on your skin or in our product, it's going to carry it in. It will penetrate the skin. And to find good, clean, organic for every one of our ingredients, it is a challenge. It's a real challenge. And even then, even though we source organic, we source clean, get certification that it's clean, then we manufacture, and then we run it through independent lab testing again on the backside to make sure, once again, everything is just as it was represented. Nothing got introduced. And most folks in our space, most folks in your space are not that wacky about getting it right, but it's critical, absolutely critical. So that's pretty awesome. Awesome. We're doing the cleanses, the supplements.
Yep.
It moves the needle.
Huge. It does. And I looked at your products as well. So I definitely want to learn more about that offline. Because those look fantastic.
Ship them to you so you can learn about it firsthand. And
that and pick your brain on the process. I love to pick your brain on the process at some point as well, because quality assurance, as you mentioned, is hugely important. So I like how you approach that, as you just mentioned, Derek.
Yeah, got to be a little over the top these days, just to make sure that what we claim we're delivering to our customers, it's really what we're delivering to our customers.
100%.
Especially since what we're doing is going to be absorbed, and then you're doing supplementation that's going to be ingested. So same kind of over the top, eye for quality,
100%.
And for moving the needle. So that's pretty darn exciting. And a lot of folks miss that in their approach to diet fitness, the basic supplementation, which is critical because our food is not the food that my grandpa ate. It's not the same thing. You can just look at an apple today, and they're awesome. I really like my Honeycrisp because they're just a sugar bomb.
Yeah, they're the
best.
If
I look at apples from when I was a child or when my dad was a child.
Not a Mackie fact.
No. Back then, the apples had a lot more minerals, vitamins, protein, and they didn't taste quite as awesome. These days, through selectively breeding the plants, we have quite a flip in the ingredient in the apple. Now it's predominantly sugars, which is why that Honeycrisp, Oh, it tastes awesome. It's like
It's
dessert.
It
Because
is.
it is dessert. That's a sugar bomb. You have to kind of watch that. I don't mind the sugar bomb in the apple, except that I do mind I don't get the protein, the vitamins, the minerals. So it's a little bit problematic. If I don't supplement in America, I have a hard time getting to the levels that I need. I don't absorb things very well. I've got celiac, so things don't absorb as well. So I've got to be very mindful of what goes in and supplementation. So what you're doing is spot on for not just guys like me, but really everybody that's serious about making a difference, trying to move the needle. That's cool. So how do you balance this dad thing? 2 active boys running a business, multiple businesses. How do you balance all that? That is not an easy undertaking.
Well, I've gotten quite a few more grays here, if you can see.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Just this last couple of years.
Yeah, it's well, it ain't easy, I tell you that. But the tools that I provide my clients, I use myself, and they work. They allow me to keep going, even on days where things are tough. And I'm like, why am I doing this? I come back to my center and I realign with my values. I remember my family members who can't be here, my dad who never got to meet his grandchildren. And I think about my future, my grandchildren, and my kids' grandchildren, and their outlook on life. And how can I spread this value set and this reverence for life to others? Because we have to share the world with each other. And if we can all appreciate life, appreciate ourselves, understand the body, and just fuel personal excellence, then this world can be a pretty sweet place to live.
I like that. I like that. I like the focus. That kind of focus does help when we need to get through the tougher times. And when you've got your own business, there are tough times. There are lots of challenges, lots of obstacles, sometimes of our own making, often not, but all obstacles. And it's nice to have the focus because there are hard days. I think everybody has the hard days. I think on the business, small business side in particular, some days they just seem really big.
Yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted. Not for the faint-hearted.
No, but man, it's rewarding.
I'd have to agree. The time freedom is an excellent payoff, especially being a single dad. It's almost a necessity. So I think when they get older, I'll thank them for giving me this responsibility.
Yeah, that was huge. When we had the kids, even now with grandkids, I still work a crazy amount, but I can adjust when I work. I can build some of that time around the kids, the grandkids, my wife, my other responsibilities. And I do like that. I could not be in a structured 9 to 5.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the time you've given me. I've got to be respectful of your time. Any more parting words of wisdom before we wrap this up and share it with we've got 25,000 email followers.
Wonderful.
They're going to pump this out to them.
Well, I think we're in a new year. A lot of change is happening all around us. And don't forget that you can't control everything outside of yourself, but you do have certain things you can control. You can control your mindset. You can control how you move your body. You can control what you put into your body, the fuel that you put into your body that gives you energy to sustain through any challenges or through any wins. You can control the goals that you set. You can control how you recover. You can control your connection with yourself and with the others, people around you, and how you present yourself to the world. So focus on the controllables. And if you need a little bit of help with that, reach out to me. I'd be happy to do that.
I like that. And I recommend that. It's nice to have a system for controlling what you can control. It's also nice to have a system for ignoring what you can ignore. So I think that's awesome. And
can you hear my dog barking?
What's that?
Can you hear my dog barking and my kids running?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
At first I thought it was mine. No, that's definitely not mine.
That
part of the fun of having a home office. I like it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Andre, I really appreciate the time. I appreciate what you're doing. And we will make sure this gets posted with all of the connections, the website, such down at the show notes. And then if you'll remind me once you get your retreat schedule for the year, shoot that out to me. I'll put it in the show notes. I think that's awesome. And if I can fit it in and it's Laguna Beach, I'll try to be there.
Yes, I would love that. Cool. I would love that.
All right.
It's your time, Todd. Thank you so much for having me. Let's connect again.
Thank you.